What if I told you that there is a special image selection technique used by professionals that you probably don't know, and without which you're putting yourself at serious risk of discarding the best images you've got while leaving the poor ones that are really ruining your image, because you know well that those guys on the internet or your customers, they will view you by your worst images, not your best ones. So I thought I will reveal the technique today. And the technique, it consists of 3 major stages, of which the first one is the longest one. So let's get right to this. So we're in Lightroom now, and the first stage will be to remove all the images that are shaky, blurry, out of focus, basically with technical problems. So let's go straight to this. So I will delete this one, and then maybe, well, this one, maybe this one, this one, this one, this one, no mercy here, all blurry, no use for us. Maybe this one and this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, and that's basically it. So now we can move on to the second stage, which is even more important, and in here we remove the images that have no content, no emotional impact, basically boring. So go back to the first image and we remove those. So this one, maybe this one, this one, this one, this one, obviously, maybe this one, and this one, this one, and this one, this one, this one, this one, obviously, this one, this one, well, I would say this one as well. You can't really have doubts here. This one as well, this one, this one, this one is fine, maybe this one, and that's basically it. And now the last stage. The last stage, I would say, is the most important one. In this stage, we get rid of all those frames that have, well, composition problems, because you know well, if you're into photography just a little bit, that without composition there is really no chance you could get a proper image. So why bother? So let's just get rid of those and have that problem off our heads, starting from the first one. And obviously we will remove this one and delete this one, this one, and this one, and definitely this one. So, well, look at this. I mean, I'm amazed every time I use the technique, how effective it is in removing all those, well, bad pictures while leaving only the best. I mean, to be honest, I don't like this one either. I don't know why. It's, yeah, let's delete this one as well. So, well, no luck this time, but to prove you how effective the technique is, I would like to share with you my private album called Summer 2012, when I first used the technique. I took a lot of images, and you can see how now, well, after all that selections, I am left with only the best frames I could possibly take. It's just great. It's a pleasure for your eyes, you know. And if you asked me Michael, is there any disadvantage to this technique? I would say yes, there is one. And that's really, excuse me for a moment. Hello? Yes, sir. I talked to your wife, yes. I told her I don't have them. What do you mean, like 100 images? Didn't you like the album of those three beautiful... Oh, two there were. Oh, yeah, okay. Sir, please. There is really no need to shout, okay? Okay, let's do it like this. Give me 1 minute, please. Stay on the line, and I will check if I have your wedding pictures, okay? Just calm down and just give me 1 minute, stay on the line. I'll be back soon, okay? Thank you. Yeah, so the only disadvantage is the phone calls, really, because, well, you need at least 1 week for those guys to stop calling you, and really, you can't talk to them. I mean, they don't understand you're an artist, really. They don't understand that actually by getting rid of all those crap pictures, you saved them this kind of unpleasant experience, and you really care about quality, obviously. So yeah. Anyway, guys, get yourself, use the technique, get yourself a good lawyer, and you're good to go. One thing I can guarantee is that this technique will definitely change your photography and will definitely irreversibly change your relationships with your customers. Okay, guys, I'm messing with you a little bit here. I guess this is obvious now. Obviously, you don't delete people's images, especially in case of important events like wedding or family events. You actually want to leave the images for like 3 years at least, because many things happen in the meantime, and your customers will be grateful if you have the originals. But when it comes to image selection, I would say this is still a skill, because what I've noticed is, depend on how you select your images and how disciplined you are, this will sooner or later impact on how you really shoot, how often you shoot, how frequently, and with what intensity. What you should really do, especially in the beginning, is when the moment comes, when the event comes, take 5-7 images a second to capture this particular face, smile, emotion, and you should have like a mental freedom to do this. But if you don't select your images, if you don't remove the images that, well, are useless, then sooner or later you will have that pressure that when I'm not going to take 500 images to get just one good image, because I know that I have already thousands of them and I don't know what to do with them. So really, this is important to have that discipline to sit and once a week, once a month, go through the images and remove the unnecessary ones. When it comes to Lightroom, one thing I would like to recommend strongly would be, if you import your images, you should actually build one-to-one previews, and that's important, because when Lightroom builds those big thumbs for your images, when you go through them, it will not build thumbs anymore. Those will be cached, and what that does is, when you go through images, it's very, very quick. You don't wait for Lightroom to generate anything, and in this way the image selection is so much quicker. So obviously, when you import and Lightroom builds those one-to-one thumbs, it takes time, but it's much better to leave it, say, for night and then come back and do the quick selection than to wait every time you move from one picture to the other. It's so much important. The next thing is, when you go through the images, what I do is I use the P key, pick, every time I want to keep the image, and I will delete the rest of them. And sometimes people don't know that there is a special function in Lightroom. If you go to attribute and you press the middle flag, it will select all the unflagged images, so those images that you did not pick. And if you mark this one, then you can actually delete all those that you didn't pick. So you go Control A and then delete, and you're done. Then you uncheck this one and you're left with only the picked images. Also, I think of pictures differently when it comes to my own images. There are definitely images that are not great, but I want to save because, well, they are precious for the family and they show some moments that will be gone. So I will pick those, but the ones that are very special for me, that I'm going to work in Photoshop, I will additionally mark with color, which is by pressing 6 or 7 number on your keyboard, and then that's basically it. I'm not rejecting pictures, I'm not using any other functions, and that works for me well. The important thing is to actually delete your images on a regular basis, so you have space to photograph, to shoot as much as possible. I would say if you're a photographer, you should really behave like a video maker, especially when you're getting started, because well, even if you have like emotional moment, there will be just one frame that shows it all, that is the perfect one, and you can't take one picture a second because your chances of capturing the perfect moment are getting slimmer. So that's that. One last conclusion I have is that when it comes to your family images, you should actually take some time off before you come back to the images. When you do the photo shoot, you are like emotionally raised. You're in those emotions because, well, these are important frames, and many times you come back from a session or you took some pictures and you're saying, well, these are the best images I've ever taken, and that's not true, because tomorrow you'll take better ones. But if you do the selection today, you will probably select 2/3 of them, and that's too much. So I took those my son's portraits, and honestly, because I took them yesterday, I would leave most of them because this is amazing for me. It's so important because he's at this age, but in 1 month's time I'll have many more like those, and then it will be easier for me to remove majority of them and leave just those most important ones, which I will work on in Photoshop. So take at least 2 weeks time, maybe a month's time to select and delete the images that are really not that great. Thank you so much, guys. See you in the next video, in which I'll try to actually discuss this particular image, which I had fun working with. See you. Thank you.